Ooh, man, there's so many good competitors on this tour. Of course, Ryan Anderson, Tyler Meninga. You got, just competitive people all the way across the board throughout this whole tour. So it's not going to be easy to maintain a top finishing order, but I'm going to give it 110% every time out.
My biggest threat this year is definitely going to be Ryan Anderson. He won last year at Series, and he's hard to beat. He has really good technique, and he's wild. So I'm going to have to work really hard to keep on with him.
Who is my biggest threat on the track this season? It's definitely got to be Ryan Anderson. He got first last year in the Series. We're back on the same tour this year. But not only him, everybody else is just as good out on that track too. So it's going to be a dogfight, that's for sure.
Well, this upcoming season, man, it's the best of the best drivers on our tour, and it's hard to definitely pick a certain guy that's going to be the hardest one to trying to compete with, but they're all the hardest, man. We're all the top of the top Monster Jam drivers in the world, so it's going to be a tough field, and we're going to see what happens, but I took them out last year. I'm going to try and do it again this year.
Everybody on my tour, if you looked at how stacked my tour is, it's stacked. Like, everybody is aces. There's no slouches. It's not like, hey, I'm going to be at least 6th in the points at the end of the season because these guys are horrible. No, it's like, God, I hope I'm not last because everybody there is awesome. To me, when you have Ryan and Tyler Meninga, and then my guys, which really, I'm hoping I beat all 3 of them because those guys are really what matters to me the most, because if I lose to them, then I have to listen to it. If I lose to Ryan or Tyler or Barry or any of those guys, I only see them on the weekend. I don't have to see them during the week working on the trucks, so it doesn't bother me as much. But if I lose to my guys, then I'm in trouble. But I think everybody's stellar. Our tour, I feel, is the most stacked tour of all the tours for Monster Jam.
Stadium Tour Blue is loaded with good drivers that are all a threat to a championship run. But I believe one of my biggest rivalries is going to be Ryan Anderson. I hope I get to line up with that guy more times than not in racing, just to show him he's really not as good as he thinks he is.
My biggest threat this year is everyone's biggest threat, and that's Ryan Anderson. He is a machine. He's a monster. He's on a mission. He's on my tour. Not going to be easy. Huge threat.
This season, I will say every single athlete in my tour, but definitely, Ryan Anderson is the driver that I admire the most since I see him drive. Then we have Tyler Meninga, which Tyler pulls tricks out of his sleeve that you don't even know how he does it. And then you got Barry. Barry is a very consistent athlete on every element. Cynthia, she has a big fan base that they support her a lot. So it's anybody's game. That's basically my top challenges on my tour right now.
Biggest threat. Ryan and Tyler, they're unbeatable. They're hard to beat. If I have anybody that I want to race on a constant basis, I'd say Chris Koehler. Definitely Chris. We've been racing together for probably 2 years doing our summer shows. We're about the same age. We've been doing it for about the same amount of time. So if I get to hang with him, I'd be pretty excited.
Biggest threat this year has to be people, honestly, the whole tour. Our tour is crazy. I'm looking at the other tours, they're all tough, but the tour we have on the Stadium Tour it's outrageous. We have Ryan, Tyler, my father, Jim, Cory. The list doesn't end. It's all 12 trucks are all threats. John Gordon, Saigon Shaker. It doesn't end, but I would say my biggest threat has to be our guys. I would say my father, easily my dad. Beating him would be, to me, it's not no disrespect, but beating him would be my most favorite thing to do. Obviously he's my biggest threat because he is what I grew up watching. He's what taught me everything I know. So taking him on is kind of what I want to go for.